It's a strange profession, Gamedec. You're neither a player nor a detective. You know the rules and how people break them. How they leave a digital trail. And there is always a trail. A flaw in the source code. Backdoors used by cheaters. Anonymity skins, used to cover up unpopular activities. All can be found. All can be traced. With a lot of skill and a little bit of luck. Sometimes more than a little. Because there are surprises, even for a Gamedec. But in the end, you keep your eyes on the prize. This is my story. What's yours?
I didn't remember why I had become a Gamedec. I was surrounded by a real world that is Realium. I could hear Warsaw City humming outside the window. I lived in Towerstone in Walla. It was the end of the 22nd century and the people were crazy happy. Kidding. Some were, some weren't. Which group did I belong to? I wasn't sure. I saw numerous cases, so people started to believe I was credible, and credibility was crucial in my line of work. Pretty much everything can be falsified, but you can't fake credibility. Games, besides being my workplace, also became my second home. Did I ever play for fun? Yeah, sometimes I did. It was time to check if there were any new jobs. Hey, thanks for joining me. We are playing Gamedec. There's going to be an update that's releasing today, and by default I am going to be playing that. This is not a complete blind playthrough. I did play Gamedec a while ago before before I was ever doing YouTube, so. Jukebox. A jukebox, my latest purchase. We're gonna listen to this.
Look, it's Scorcher. Man, I'm serious. She's trying to kill me. I told you my helmet gets tampered with. Shocking me every time. You know, feel it. Then my nanoplate gets blocked. And now I've just heard from the doc that I've been ill the last week, so someone's poisoning my infusion fluid. All this happening inside 2 weeks? Look, Wait, I think she's home. Hey, honey? Wait, who are you? No, please, don't!
That's not good. I've listened to this answering machine, I think, 3 times now, and each time it's been a different message. Warsaw City. My Wallace. Walkways, squares, space, and chasms. That's what modern cities look like. The middle layer, mid-city, despite dense developments, you could still see the sun and pieces of the sky, as well as the long way down. I felt a connection with the people above and below. I could hear the transit tubes and the mobiles, the humming ads. It was never quiet. This is where the rich met the poor, the light met darkness, a place where you could be pretty much whoever you wanted to be. And where advertising drones peep through people's windows looking for new victims. I had a few things I needed to think over. You can't really contemplate without a drink in your hand. Luckily, the servo bot knew exactly what I needed. The surfer logo had slightly faded already, but the server bot, as usual, patiently awaited instructions. I always like tea. It opens your mind and cheers you up. Add a decent chemical blend and the real more expensive stuff. I was going to beat myself up for something I already paid for. I decided I would drink synthetics when the good stuff was gone. I decided to think some stuff over and get to work. Thousands of games and millions of players mean plenty of cases for Gamedec. Hatred, greed, and deviousness are especially common online. Two topics have been especially popular in the media recently: digital love and whether it's better to live online or in Relium. I took a sip. Game fans say they let them fulfill their dreams, and they don't have to obey the rules of nature, which are a bitch. They could choose gender, looks, go on adventures. Opponents called it escaping, and claimed you could only get tough in Relium. Relium presents real challenges. On the other hand, good money can be made online too, and it's no less complicated than Relium. Sensory worlds are kingdoms in themselves. There are plenty of affairs, people, and nuances. I wasn't surprised when people called them home. Experiencing things in games is no different than experiencing them in Relium. It's just a different and more interesting level of reality. Some people have been talking about the Pygmalion technology developed by Blue Wells Interactive. It upgraded AI to a level of the human psyche. Recent gossip: a man named Ken Zhao, a young good-a-bad star, screwed up in the last game, and his Black Angels lost. BWI claimed they could create human beings, obviously for a hell of a price. Such humans were called diginets. A diginet has a synthetic brain, a Rendan, but no body. It lives online unless you buy its Mulbrium. There were demonstrations at the company's location against this technology. The protesters claimed that diginets were unnatural. Diginets hadn't been tested and the technology hadn't been verified. It worked because BWI said it did. The protesters were right to demonstrate. It is a suspicious technology. It is time to get to work.
Gamedec, you got a funny name. So my daddy died while gaming, and well, he had a big ass treasure room down in oh yeah, deep past world. And it has to be like the biggest one in there. It's so big. That's what she said. But I can't get in it. Can you get me in there so I can sell it? I'll give you, what's that number after 7-8? Oh yeah, 20. I'll give you 20% of what I sell. Let me know.
Breaking news.
Warsaw City News, the latest domestic and international news all day long. Today is Monday, July 17th. My name is Gina Gord, and this is the news. Ken Zhao, the young star of Goodabands, loses the game miserably. Zhao blames everything on glitches in the game. Could this be the end of the youngster's career? The control panel for the apartment's AI, a fine piece of software that didn't treat fridge contents as its first priority. You can also talk to it. Its name is Bliss. That's the default name, and I never bothered to change it. A logo with two whales appeared on the panel. Thank you for purchasing a product manufactured by Blue Wells Interactive, the leader in the field of AI. BWI, never alone. You are activating Bliss for the first time. To start, configure the software to your liking. Damn, something to reset my settings. Probably another failure in the tower or a surge upstairs. I had to reconfigure everything again. A holographic figure appeared in the air.
Hello, I'm Bliss. How can I serve you?
Hi, wait, what do you mean? Don't you remember me? Why does everything break all the time nowadays? Someone was sensing me. It turned out to be a man called Jeffrey Haggis. I didn't know him. Nevertheless, I answered.
Please come to me. I'll tell you everything when you're here.
Hold on, let's have a little respect for each other's times. I don't know anything about the case. I'm not sure whether a certain amount... I get it, you want a down payment. I'm transferring it now. I hope it's enough. Yes, great, I'm waiting. He disconnected. My computer, it controlled the couch, communicated with household appliances, let me send messages, and did everything else. It's old and could use an upgrade, but it still worked well enough to be reliable. Few emails from client side helped. I needed to reply to those. First message, Senator Stone was grateful for working out what his daughter was doing in the dungeon 1337. I replied kindly. I wrote that I was happy to hear from him and ask how his daughter was feeling. It's good to nurture relationships with clients. I got through the other emails quickly. Some were invitations to events, some were spam. I replied. I had already won contract, but it wouldn't hurt to check. Maybe there'd be another one. It was my lucky day. Miss Gamedec, come play Crying Guns with us. It's a lot of fun. We may not be able to play you, but... A bunch of kids. I didn't want to deal with that. So the contract from Haggis was the best thing I could give my attention to. A new case. I wonder if anything would surface on the net. Look up Haggis. Who was Jeffrey Haggis? Director of the programming department at Blue Wells Interactive. Wife, Eleanor. Son, Frederick. Fredo, to his friends. His assets are recorded in 8-figure amounts. That was all I could find. Look up Blue Wells Interactive. Blue Wells Interactive, or BWI, the leader in the field of AI. Their flagship product, the dating game, Paradise Beach. A little less known, but still popular, was the game Knight's Code, a clan battle game based in medieval Japan. They made luxury helmets, and ladies and gentlemen, they could make human beings. Their Pygmalion upgraded AIs mimicked human psyches. A virtual couch made by Surfer Industries. Not one of their newest models, but it was still reliable. At least I thought it was. A poet would call it a gateway to the sensory world. To me, it was just a tool of my trade. Food levels are low. I still have a few tanks left, but it's always good to have reserves. It's starting to fall apart. I need to replace it. Damn it, some important gear wouldn't come cheap. July 17, 2199, 3:30 p.m. My last session took... Oh, it showed an error message and a suggestion to restore default settings. Maybe Surfer Industry couches weren't as reliable as I thought. This thing's glory days were long gone. A game deck shouldn't skimp on things like it. It was time to consider buying a new one. The couch reverting to its default settings was alarming. My health depended on it working. Someone needed to take a look at it. Fortunately, every couch had a sensor, technical assistant required. I just needed to touch it and confirm. It read, "Thank you for your report. We will get back to you within a few days." Okay, I checked everything. BWI has been developing AI modeled after the human psyche for quite some time. Even the holographic visualizations look like brains. Everything seemed fine, but it shouldn't have. If there was a surge or a failure in the tower, it should have left a sign, but there was nothing. The software truly looked like I was activating it for the first time. It made no sense. Solid doors protect me and my apartment. Or maybe they protected Warsaw City from me.
office is behind that door. Mr. Haggis is expecting you.
The computer on the desk was not secured. The empty workspace exuded corporate solitude. The nameplate on the desk read, Junior Customer Support Specialist, Idris Takuri. The screensaver slideshow changed between landscapes beyond the ABBs and the towers of Warsaw City. Breaking the sequence, an image of two women embracing appeared on one of the monitors. One of them had blue hair. I barely touched the screen and gained access to the desktop. It wasn't locked. There was an open BWI presentation and an unfinished hand of solitaire. I couldn't just leave the game unfinished like that, so I started to arrange the cards on the screen. I finished. It wasn't too bad a score. I saw 3D blue whales. Flying through the clouds. The company's logo. The animated slides presented the financial results from the last quarter. I copied the presentation to take a look at it later. There may have been some interesting files there. My snooping software started shifting through the contents of the computer. The screen filled up with the face of my client, Jeffrey Haggis. I can see you through the camera. You won't find anything on that computer. I'm in the room next door. Come and see me. Before Haggis hung up, the software displays the search results. There really was nothing there. I noticed the gold frame as soon as I entered the room. A painting of Jeffrey Haggis. Oh, those directors and their inflated egos. Why was it hanging on the hall? A receptionist in love? Or maybe it was just corporate policy. Looked like gold, but I wasn't certain. It was easy enough to check. I thought it might be classified as property damage. I didn't have time for artistic elation.
You're here. Good.
The man took a deep breath and let the air out through his nose with a loud wheeze. His gaze bore into me like he was trying to break me. How long do you expect me to wait? Mr. Haggis, I'm a Gamedec and... Yes, I know. Wonderful. Something's wrong with my son. He's not getting off the couch and... Well, you'll see for yourself. It's been over 4 days. He entered some game with his friend, Timmy. I tried talking to Timmy, but he's clammed up. His condition makes me worry even more. My son is on the couch in the next room. Let's go there now. Here he is. Find out what's going on with him and how he can be helped. Haggis' son was wearing an expensive brand-name suit, and a state-of-the-art helmet covered part of his face. The couch's side panel warned that he exceeded the online time limit. I couldn't help noticing the genital area of his gaming suit was bulging. I took his hand. It was slightly trembling, but with a normal temperature. That happens in games that generate lots of adrenaline. His fingertips were covered with sweat. No, sweat. I rubbed the sticky substance between my fingers and sniffed. Berries and chewing gum. I leaned over and looked under the visor of the helmet. No signs of an extended online stay. Expensive supplements did the trick. He had a regular skin discoloration near the ears. I had no idea what could have caused them. Hurry up. The suit was equipped with advanced anti-bed sore software. It resembled the skin of a slithering snake. I ran my fingers over the suit's surface. The synthetic fibers emitted more heat in the places where they needed to work harder. The suit was trying to mitigate the boy's sexual arousal through slow but intensive body massage. I grabbed his shoulders and shook him a few times. No muscle tension. He wasn't faking. The quiet sound of the suit's massaging devices grew louder as the supporters brought his body back to the optimal position. Enough sniffing around. Tell me what's going on with my son. Mr. Haggis, this is a tense situation. We need to keep our composure. According to my initial observations, he's been logged in for over 4 days, but there are no signs of adverse effects from the session. This is some excellent equipment. However, Fredo is unnaturally excited. If the state continues, it may lead to some unpleasant consequences. We need to hurry. Doing a hard extraction by taking the helmet off is a huge risk, and logging out remotely, impossible, I know. Like it is in most systems. Can you at least tell where he's logged into? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to determine that. I need to find out which game he's logged into and take the appropriate steps. I understand. Fredo entered the game with his friend Timmy. He's a spineless pushover, but that might be for the best. He's waiting in my office. Maybe he can tell us something. You better hurry, though, as someone's on the way to pick him up. He looked at me, then at his son, and sighed. All right, get to work. The 11 bits discretion comfort couch reeked of luxury and unattainability. The system masked the player's login information. I leaned over to get a better look. The visor screen had no info on Fredo's virtual location. An intentional safeguard. The helmet didn't have an observer port either. There was no way to see what he was playing. Full discretion. To get a look at a number, it had to lift the boy's head. I gently grabbed his head and tried to turn it a little. Fredo moaned. Careful, you're hurting him. I know what I'm doing. He'll be fine. You think I'm blind? You're hurting him. Leave him the fuck alone or I'll throw you out myself. Best to leave him alone. The small screen displayed Fredo's vital signs. Pulse, muscle tension, and brain activity. Despite the high-end hardware, the kid was sweating and was using much more neutral fluid than he should have. His body was exhausted. There was a rather provocatively dressed 20-something woman on the couch. The device's panel was flashing warnings. She exceeded the safety limits for logged-in time. Over 4 days without a suit, she must have taken a game pill, or her bladder would have held out. Started revitalization, but something interrupted the process. Even though she couldn't control her body, I thought she could hear me. Her helmet had an external monitoring port. I could connect and see what happened. Who is she? I don't know. I've never seen this whore before. Haggis noticed what I was doing. What the fuck are you doing? I want to talk to her through the observer port, which is... I already know what it is, so stop insulting my intelligence and hurry the fuck up. When I connected to her helmet, the image was transmitted to my lenses. The girl drifted in undefined space. It wasn't the network menu or any of the games I knew. Hello, I'm a game tech. I was hired by Mr. Haggis. I connected to your helmet. You can talk, and you'll hear me on my walk-tell. According to the login, your name is Starlet. Is that right?
A Gamedec. That's great. Yeah, I'm Starlet. I can't seem to log out.
Let me try and help you. That's a weight off my shoulders. Interrupted revitalization is rare, usually due to faulty equipment, but that wasn't the case. Must have been something external. Revitalization is based on hardware stimulation of the player's senses. Each stage appears on the progress bar. Sadly, I couldn't recall the correct order. Vision is definitely restored last when the helmet is removed. Had I rushed it, Starlet would have been in serious trouble. Okay, Starlet, I think I know how to wake you. Wait, I hear laughter. What's happening? My deck detected the girl's helmet being bombarded with exabytes of data. Someone wanted to overload it and terminate our connection. Charlotte, someone is trying to either stop us from talking or probe me. Damn it, what are you going to do? The attack was intensifying. I didn't have much time. I'll activate some barriers to block the signal, but it's only for a matter of time before they crack. The jamming barrier sent request and increase to the source of the attack, slowing down whoever it was. Charlotte, I put up some barriers. I bought us some time. We don't have much time. I'm going to try to get you out of here. The correct order was key. The revitalization bars stopped on stimulating proprioception. Seems right to start with that. Charlotte, I'm going to try to finish your revitalization. I'm going to need to touch your body. Is that okay? Do whatever is necessary. I felt around for Starlet's arm in Relium, raised it, and moved it around. I decided to simulate her inner ear, her sense of balance. I gently raised the girl's head. Okay, something's happening. I feel dizzy. It's time for the sense of smell. I knew it was connected with taste. I hesitated. I didn't know how fresh my breath was, but I took a risk. I leaned over and blew under the helmet into her face, then waited. Hey, I smell something strange, and now I have a weird taste in my mouth. That means we're on the right track. I took Starlet's hand and squeezed it. I can feel your hand! Finally! Now comes vision. I'm about to take your helmet off. It should stimulate your vision and motor functions. I gently slid the helmet off her head. Finally! Thank you! Those words didn't come through the walk-tail, but directly from her lips. I was about to terminate the connection when I saw a message. Gamedec, whoever brought you into the game doesn't understand its rules. Go home and go to sleep. It's for your own good. Don't get involved. The attack ended, and I got disconnected. Well, Gamedec, you actually impressed me. Can you wake my son now? I'll do what I can, Mr. Haggis. How are you feeling?
You pulled me back from that void. Thank you.
I lay without a suit for too long. I'm still a bit shaky, but my back is cooling and my stomach is warming up. You pulled me back from that void. Thank you. You probably want to ask me some questions before I leave. You remember which world you and the boys entered? I took them to Twisted and Perverted. If only I knew how it would turn out. Ask about Frodo's condition. Can't seem to log out of the game. Do you know why? No, the boys were fine. And I blacked out. I guess someone hacked me. Do you know Idris? I saw your picture on her computer. The girl looked at Haggis again, then into my eyes and nodded slightly. Out loud, she said, I have no idea what you're talking about. Thank you. That's all. You should get some rest. I overstayed my welcome. Drop by Yeti's coming in low sometime. I'll buy you a drink. Oh, and Mr. Haggis? Man looked at Starlet with disgust. What do you want? Who do I bill for the escort service? You or the company? He wanted to say something, but just stood there, holding his breath, with his mouth tightly shut. This animal looked as if it was frozen in time. Submerged in a transparent resin substance, the panda seemed alive. I noticed a panda with a single red button at the base of the display. and an anti-G mechanism buzzed as it moved the polymer resin blocks apart. The floor was sticky in that spot. Berries and chewing gum. A barely noticeable trace of liquor. And folio files all open to the BW homepage. The article was about Polygmalion, the flagship PWI product. It allowed you to create living human psyches. I copied the rest to the codex to get back to it when I had more time. A stream of stock market quotations appeared on the screen. The hardware was high-end, just like everything else in these rooms. System access was blocked, but I was convinced I could log in if I tried. I had to be the hardware that was monitoring Freddle's couch. I expected problems, but a simple bypass did the trick. The owner didn't seem to care about good security. Access granted.
Hi, what can I do for you?
Hey, honey bunny, what can I do? She cut short mid-sentence and took a good look at me. Oh, you're not honey bunny. Did something happen? Is he alright? I mean, is Jeffrey alright? Excuse me, I haven't talked to other people in years, so is he okay? Mr. Haggis' son is trapped in Virtualium. I'm a game tech, and I'm trying to get him out. I need access to this computer. So, Honey Bunny's fine and well, that's good. What was I... yes, let me give you a tour. I have access to emails, reports, bills, and some other systems. What would you like to see? Show me the emails. Is anything on Freddo there? There's some correspondence between Timmy and Frederick. I'm sending it to your deck. Looks like Timmy doesn't like it when Freddo doesn't respond to his questions. Show me the most recent logins for this device. The last logged in user was Freddo Haggis. I don't think I should go through his inbox, but... what the hell? Oh, I'm going to blush. I don't think you want to see this. There are plenty of messages from that stripper, Starlet. Can you brief me on their conversations? Of course. What do we have here? Some rather indecent proposals of a show. That Starlet girl promised him both real and virtual sensations. She also mentioned access to a game for the very adult. I want access to the couch control panel. Show me Freddo's monitoring. Do you know where he's logged in? I'm afraid that data is encrypted. Honey Bunny made it so, but I can connect to the boy and describe what he's feeling right now. Alright, do it. I'm making the connection. I can't say I like the kid's thoughts. What don't you like about him? It's hard to say. He makes me sick. I sense the same purple scent from him as I do from Honey Bunny, but his is barely noticeable, whereas Freddy's... Hard to explain how I received them. Synthesia? I think that's what that's called. It's getting hot. He's very excited, far beyond the limits of red ecstasy. Focus on the ecstasy. Describe it. Yes, crimson. I love that color. Oh, all that red. Don't stop. Amaranth, scarlet, crimson. Ah. Honey Bunny. Programming error. Have a nice day. Blue Wells Interactive. Never alone. A piece of the floor stood out from the rest. There's no chance of a flaw of the design. Not in a building like this. It looked like a hatch. A hidden safe.
Are you going to question me?
Questioning is best left to the police. I'm here to help Mr. Haggis' son, so let's just talk, alright? Okay, I want to help too. Tell me what happened. It's Freddo's 16th birthday and we were inside an adult game. He turned red and stared intently at his shoes. What do you want to know? Let's focus on you, Timmy. Are you alright? You're slurring your words and trembling. How do you feel? Not too good. I'm a bit dizzy. But that's from the fatigue. We played for a long time, you know. Just a few more questions and you're free to go. Alright, I believe he went to help. It was Fredo's birthday. Did I already mention that? I'm not sure. So we logged into Paradise Beach, the place where adults get together there, and you can read all about it in the description. He turned red like my grandma's geraniums. Tell me something about Fredo. Anything you want. He's my buddy. Same school and stuff. Once this kid Alex called me names, so Fredo flushed his walk towel down the toilet. Smiled at the memory. Then he altered the hollows in the school gallery and gave Alex a pig snout that constantly oozed this disgusting mucus. Fredo's brilliant. Believe you, really, I do. And I went to help, it's just that I can't quite remember. I don't know what actually happened. He had trouble putting sentences together and remembering the events. It wasn't just shock. Something had really disturbed his nervous system. What games does he like? Whatever Fredo plays. Space sims like Dream Space and Dying Stars. Shooters too. Trying guns is our favorite. He loosened up. He liked to talk about the games. He seemed to be gaining courage. What do you need to do to become a Gamedec? So you want to be a Gamedec, Timmy? I'm sure you could handle it. He smiled with disbelief. You seem alright. I'll tell you what Fredo looks like in game. He bought us both skins, and mine was almost as cool as his. Old Man Haggis doesn't know. We used an agent and covered our tracks so no one would find out that we were going into an adults-only world. Why Paradise Beach? Well, to have some fun. People normally log into Paradise Beach to pick someone up, flirt a bit, or go to bed with someone. Is that what you were looking for? Yeah. Fredo says that you need to have an instinct, and we have it. We were godlike. Because we always know how to handle the girls. He had no idea how to handle girls or Gamedecs. I knew he was lying. He was no longer terrified and just waited for the next question. How are things between Fredo and his father? Do they like each other or not? Old Man Haggis is paying you. No matter what I say, you'll take his side anyway. The truth lies where the money comes from. He grunted and pursed his lips. We didn't know because we were always buy the most expensive tech and win. And everyone envies us. You know the risk? I was supposed to be like that. You know how it is, don't you? Sure, everyone likes to show off now and then. He nodded vigorously. I think he likes me. What can you tell me about Starlet? She's a stripper. She knew the game well, so Fredo hired her as a guide. She was very brave. A guide? How did you like playing with a guide like her? Not much. She wasn't that familiar with the place, and she kept provoking. Fredo, that is. Having distanced himself from the stripper, he sighed with relief. I've heard that Gamedecs can pull players out of tough situations. Have you always been able to? Until now? I can't always save people from the stupidity or maliciousness of others. Those less fortunate end up in paralysis, amnesia, or worse, and no Gamedec can help you then. He wrapped his arms around himself and looked away. I understand. Fredo has been in a state of constant intense sexual arousal for the past few hours. What's he doing in the game? It was an adults-only world, and I guess that's what adults do in adult-only worlds. I get it. You went there to have fun. No need to explain. He looked at me gratefully. How many words did they play in? You celebrated Fredo's birthday in just one virtualium? Yeah, but we did some pre-gaming here first. We kind of overdid it, and Fredo had trouble putting on his suit. He realized that he said too much and stopped. I know how things are, Timmy. When I was your age, I also went to parties and drank booze. Booze is for the old, or the poor. Fredo and I have butter stuff. But the girl Fredo brought had booze. She said that it was included. I trust you, and I'll tell you the truth. Just please don't tell Mr. Haggis. We went inside, twisted and perverted. It's a world where people, hurt each other for pleasure. It's horrible, and Fredo, he's still there. Please find him. Hurry. Thank you, Timmy. You've been a great help. I found a crack. I raised the wooden tile and saw a digital safe lock. I triggered an emergency opening of the safe with the handy butler, a device of my own design. A steel box appeared from beneath the floor. I needed to check for leads inside. Tree figurine. A figurine resembled a tree decorating the office floor. A gold plate with the words Access Monday was engraved on its side. Inside the leather briefcase, I found hollows of a young man holding an attractive woman in what looked like a loving embrace. A closer look at her face and body language made it clear that she wanted to get away. Without a doubt, the young man was Fredo. Then I realized the woman looked like one of the girls I'd seen on the secretary's computer. There was an Infolia file attached to the hollows. I checked it out. It seemed Haggis was being blackmailed. Plenty of game pill packages, NLSD, CC, stay on target, even the L pill. Not illegal. What would he be doing with an L pill? I returned to the investigation. Hi.
I sincerely apologize.
I was told to take the boy home, Timmy home. The kid nodded. Thank you. I hope you can help Fredo. Bye, Timmy. Hang tough. It was coming in to bust me for the save because I was just thinking, isn't there a way for me to hide that?
Fuck, how long do you expect me to wait?
He looked at me with disgust, as if to let me know I was wasting his time. Ask about access to the couches. Who has access to the room with the couches? My guest and I, but no one except Fredo uses them when I'm away. Left to the couch the woman was using. At least, that's what I thought. I had nothing to say to him. Something bad had happened at TMP. Fredo must have been there, so I needed to go in.